there a way to see? Ah, unlucky. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Turn on some music. Bite down. Bite down. Pop out. Alright, so there's that. And then... Yes. According to you. Can the same camera not be used twice? It's interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Alright. Well. Turn that off here. Will that be able to use it? I'm like trying to figure out my stream situation. Ooh. My eyes. Why won't it count it is my problem. What if I remove this one? And then I remove this one. Delete. And then I add it back. Camera, add. Yeah, so that works. Okay. Ooh. And then exit on that one. And just do my best to stay in frame for that. Where did I put my... Okay, I think that'll work. I would like that to be, well, no, I guess not. Alright. Okay. All right. Ow. Dum. New day, new stream. Where? Oh, yeah. Let me try this one. Okay, so we started lining this yesterday, but I felt like I was getting lazy with the lining on her, so I'm gonna go back through. I'm just gonna basically redo most of it. Because by the time I got to like this area yesterday, I was getting real baby girl tired. So we're doing our best today to not give up on quality. I'm also gonna turn off this background so I can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, let's just erase this whole thing. Actually, I like the nose. Let's leave the nose, and then everything else needs to go. Everything else needs to go. So and then let's see if we can get this smile happening. Oh my god. I feel like she has no chin, so maybe we move the nose up a little bit. Just a smidge. So she's allowed to have a chin. We just need a bit of a chin. Let's see how this goes. And then we've got her eyes gonna be right here. But her eye is technically looking... She's like looking at another character. And that's like coming this way. But I want her like looking at him, so let's make sure when we do this eye that we have her doing that look up a little bit. But not so much that it doesn't come through. If that makes sense. And then for her eyebrows, I think they're technically like right here. She's got like very soft little fluffy brows. So we're trying our best to keep that. Oh, that was it. Oh, I fucked it up. Bring it back. Eh. Humblebee, thank you so much for the follow. I'm trying to get this. I had it perfect for a second. Okay. I think that's mostly it. But to be honest, a lot of her hair is also going to come down in front of her like this. So we gotta keep that in mind. She's got bangs, and then she has these little money pieces coming down on this side. So let's make sure we get that. Okay, that works, that works. And then for her ear, that's pretty good actually. And we just bring that down a little bit. And then, so she has her, okay. So she has these like, real, I guess it depends on which image I've done of her, to be honest. But she has these double braids. Do we feel like this eye looks right? Do we feel good about this eye? Who are you drawing? This is my character, her name's Ink. So let me see if I can grab a picture of her. She's based on an inky cap mushroom, and oh, wrong one. I draw a lot of fairies and fairy-esque characters, and thank you so much. This is her. Let me get her in frame for you correctly. This is her, and I draw a lot of different like fairy-esque characters, and so this one's technically based off of a mushroom, right? Like the ink cap mushroom. And so I didn't give her wings. I just picture her being like 3 inches tall, running around mushrooms and stuff. So thank you so much. And so I've got quite a few that I've done at this point in varying stages. Some of them are way more finished than others, but this one's inky. And then the guy that she's with, let's see. Fauna. The guy that she's with is gonna be he's based off a jumping spider. And so let's see if I can. I don't. I don't want to take all the lines off because that's basically like my tracker for the turnaround, and I'm not quite done with the turnaround of him. So I don't. I'm sorry for the blue. What is it? What are they called? The blue guidelines. But that's who she's with, who's over here off screen. And I've already done his sketch pretty well, but I was a little lazy with her sketch, so we're trying to figure out as we go now, which is it while you're inking and you're trying to get that done like that, it is a no-go. I did it to myself. And I've got now I'm paying my price. He's so cute. Thank you. I'm glad you like him. I have been working on this project. Thank you so much, my creators. Thank you so much. I've been working on this project for probably 2 to 3 years, so I've got like a lot of random stuff all over the place. But basically, I really like fairies, and I can't help but think about how they would be living in their little fairy houses. And so in this particular image, I'll do my best to show it to you as much as I can, but in this particular image, she's Ink and the spider. You know, the worst part about it is that I don't even have good names for anybody. I just call them, my main dude is a bee fairy. That's adorable. I like that. See, I need to get on to doing a bee fairy. I get really into the floras for sure. I got a lot of fairies that are like based off flowers, and then I've got a couple of them that are based off, I call them fauna fairies, but it's basically the ones that are based off bugs. And I love the idea of doing a bee fairy. I just got swallowed by the idea of spiders first, and then I got swallowed by a couple of, like, I bounce around everywhere. I never finish anything, which is part of my problem. I probably originally did this sketch with her and him talking over storage stuff probably a year ago. But I'm obsessed. I think honeybees are some of the cutest thing that's ever been we've ever been graced with, so. Okay, so she's got these double braids going down, so they're gonna come, get her back in frame. They're gonna come like this. I think the second one's also gonna come down here, so we've gotta figure out how we wanna align that. We might wanna let's do some quick sketches for it first. We're gonna do some quick sketches for it first to kind of make it a little bit easier to see what I'm looking at. Maybe a little bit darker. So we've got, and drawing her braids is another thing. I know how to draw braids in general. Oh wait, let's go look at her. We gotta go see. Okay, her braids go down far, so let's make sure we're tapering them correctly, because this is a little big. So we've got this. Braids are hard. Yeah, they definitely can be. I've gotten better specifically because I've been doing her for this long, because I've been drawing her for a hot second. But at first I was like permanently looking up, what's it called, like tutorials and stuff. I was like a tutorial. I was permanently face deep into a tutorial. So let's have this one, because I don't like them going into each other. Let's have this one kind of bouncing. So I think I'm going to have it come down this way. And then we can have it kind of stop right there. That feels better. That feels better. And then she's got... The dress is... So we come down here. And she does, her arms do come through and kind of cover a good bit of her length forward there. So let's see where that's gonna be. Okay. And luckily, there's nothing really on her arms. When I tab over, you guys can't super see what I'm looking at for this one. Let's move it over. Oh, it just resets every time. That sucks. Well. You know what I could do, actually, for you guys? Here's what we're gonna do. Bear with me while I figure this out. Copy this. Make a new clipboard area. Fill that in. And then, now when I flip over, it'll be directly in the center for you. I didn't mean to click that. Should be, yeah, it's basically in the center for you. So there we go. Now I don't have to worry about flipping back and forth between that. And then we're not worried about doing him at all until I get her at least done. I do want... There is more bend to this arm that I'm kind of showing. There we go. Wait, no. There we go. Hello? Yeah. I think, yeah. 90% of my process is just trying to show something and then immediately being like, I don't know if I like that or not. Okay, and then we look... The way her dress kind of goes is that there's these like layers that go down like this. I am worried that her torso looks a little short. And maybe needs to be a little bit bigger compared to her... What am I grabbing? Oh, it's because... The only thing about working with TikTok Studio is TikTok Studio does this thing where a lot of my keybinds for my Photoshop, it starts, they like overlap, so I go to hit a button to transform the layer, or like just what I've got, and it immediately starts fighting me on it. Okay, and then, let's see here, the rest of that. And this comes in here, and that would make that wrong, because it would she'd come down a little bit more. This is mostly arm. Yeah. And then this, the way that this comes down, I think, let me double check. This comes down. This comes down. Methinks. And then it's got like these drippies in between. There we go. That sketch looks a lot better in my opinion, I think. I'm like squinting. Maybe this shoulder could go forward more. Are you left-handed? No, I think... No. I think it's got it flipped. Because this is my left hand. So it's definitely got it flipped. I didn't even notice that. You think I should flip it back? Yeah, you think I should flip it back? Hold on. Let me change this song first. Let's see if I can... I can. Boom. Do I look? Okay, now I look right-handed. Perfect. I didn't even notice that. I like how I went from one... I just noticed because many people in my family are left-handed. Corpse. Oh, do you want to listen to Corpse? I'll go back. I'll go back if you want to listen to Corpse. You only know. I want to say I have one friend that's left-handed, and then that's basically the extent of people I know that are left-handed. It's fine. I don't feel like on TikTok I should have a song that just keeps saying the line on that one. Maybe if it was one of the other ones. Okay, so I do want her shoulders leaning a little bit more forward, because then that'll be like she's super interested in what he has to say, right? I like I kind of ship them a little bit, because that one could get TikTok canceled. Yeah. I love the idea that they're a little head over heels. Specifically, because I like to think that she's pretty nocturnal. She's pretty nocturnal from what she is, like, since she's technically a mushroom fairy. And then he's a spider, and I just feel like the whole thing is super cute. Okay, then let's do the sketch for, something's going on with her arms here now, actually. Because she's got it, she's like leaned in. And then this arm goes here, mostly. This arm goes here, but then I think we'd have more from her dress happening. Ship them for sure, thank you. Yeah. And while I like the way this arm looks, I do think that maybe it needs to be a little bit more turned in. Maybe. And then this hand is kind of... This hand is kind of just holding the edge of this barrel thing. Maybe one finger kind of spilling out. But if that was... Yeah, so maybe her pointer finger just kind of spilling out. And then we've got her pinky would just be in here. I don't think we'd see it all that much. But we would see her knuckles. And then this hand, I feel like we would almost not see it all. So I'm not going to force that hand until we start lining, and then if it doesn't look right, I might go back in and look around. Okay. And then let's drop the opacity on that a little. Well, we could leave it. Let's go back to her layer. Back to the color I was using, which is just a black for this. And then we're going to do our best to listen to what my line art is saying to me. And then something else that I've always struggled with is like in this area where the braid starts, how it like starts feeding into each other from this like long part is where I start getting a little confused. We're gonna drop our tool back to about 10 pixels because I want most of the line art to feel pretty similar. And the funny thing is that I have my hair in braids right now, so I like have an actual IRL kind of thing to follow, but this over. Okay, and then me sitting here looking at my own braids. It like does this. And then we've got, and I'm trying to, braids are messy, is another thing. Peak taste in music, please. Thank you. Or peak taste in music, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm bad about just adding everything to the to my likes, so I don't like do playlists. The closest thing I do to playlists is like on the top, because I use Spotify. At the top of Spotify, you can pick like a a genre and do your best, and that's the closest thing I get to doing any sort of. So that would go that way, and let's wrap it, wrap it, wrap it. And I can clean this up at some point if it doesn't come out looking quite how I want it to, because there is a few areas that's kind of a little messy. Let's turn off that layer and see what I'm looking at now. There we go. That's not bad. Wait, this one might go like that, but that's not bad. Not terrible. You can tell I was a little bit scared though, because the line art kind of started losing, what's it called? Thickness at one point. But anyway, back to this. And then we bring her arm down. We bring this part up. And then at this point, our dress starts interacting again, which saves me a lot of heartache. I'm not gonna lie. But when we look at her dress, she does have these, like, it is a hard edge to the shapes, so we've got to make sure we're following that, because it's like, okay, we've got the first hard edge with the frills. And then we've got our second hard edge. Okay. And then at this point, we can basically just do the goop. The goop. And I'm going to look at it without the sketch to see if I feel like her arms are too long, because I feel like her arms are too long. So we're going to have to probably look at that again. Basically, the arm, there's like a rule of thumb where the hands are meant to stop halfway down your thigh, right? So if that's her waist, this would be about halfway. And I think these arms, unfortunately, if that's her thigh, quite long, huh? Especially when they're bent. So we're gonna have to relook at that. Probably. probably about there, and then work on the hand again in there. But what we can do, since we did the sketch already for most of it, we can just go through and utilize our really cool transform tool and bring all that up. Yeah, about there, I think, technically. She does have pretty long legs in this. Not that she doesn't have super long legs in the original, but... Thank you for the likes, Ashley. I appreciate you. Maybe like this. Drop the opacity just a little bit on it. And then this would be, because I'm trying to think if she's like leaned forward, and thank you for the rose, she's like leaned forward. Maybe this arm doesn't go back that far with the bend at all. Maybe it comes like here. Let's see. Maybe it comes like here and then it loops up. Does that make more sense than the bend? I feel like it makes more sense than the bend. This is what I get for not sketching it right. Let's... What we're gonna do is we're gonna liquefy the braid to bring the braid forward a little bit more. See if I can get that back in frame for you. You can't see that because it's a new... I don't know why it does that. Hold on. We're gonna capture my entire display. So that way you can see. And then we're going to try to match that the best we can. Some of Photoshop's tools are... Let me exit out of it actually, so you can see, so I can figure out what I'm showing you. Some of Photoshop's tools are... Cancel. That's basically the size. I think. We're troubleshooting, ladies and gentlemen. Some of Photoshop's tools, they pop up as a separate window, which makes it where if I'm using it, you guys can't see it, which is problematic. So we're gonna delete Photoshop. There we go. And now, back to what I was doing. Anyway, liquefy. So basically what the liquefy tool does is that it lets you literally move stuff around. So I can physically, oop, wrong brush. I can physically move, got the brush huge too. I can physically move the whole thing just a little bit over. And the difference between this and something like the transform tool is the transform tool is very static. It's like, it treats it as a box versus this just lets you fully smudge the whole thing over a little bit. And now we've got it a little bit more forward, which implies that it's actually sitting on her chest, which is nice. Because technically her chest would start here. And then we've got her leaning. Okay, yeah. So that would imply that it's actually interacting with her chest, which in my opinion looks better. It gives the whole, it gives her more form in general. And it makes her feel like she's leaning a little bit more. And it lets me straighten up this arm just a smidge. And then I will say that with this back area, I feel like I am ignoring the fact that there is back to this. Maybe that's right. And because she's leaning forward so much, that back part of her dress also needs to move forward a little bit. So we're going to go back into liquefy. And we're going to move forward. And we're going to move that area forward as well. Like we're basically pushing the whole body a little bit forward. I only really want this. That might be enough. And then we just redraw this back line. We'll re-look at that without the purple underline. Let's finish. Let's look at her dress again. There's like... Let's put a little shade here, I think. So because this shoulder's kind of leaning forward, I want the other one as well leaning forward. So I do think that this back piece of hair I drew in there wouldn't be seen. And we'll retouch up her like money pieces later once I understand what I'm looking at in terms of the shoulder here. She is leaning forward enough that this area would come forward. And basically it would start... She'd have her chest here, her stomach would be here. Which would put sides here. But then we've got her arm coming out of here. Which is fine. That's right. Let's turn that purple off really quick. See if that makes sense. I think it does. Just a smidge here. And then we do want this braid. I'm gonna put the braid on a new layer so I can easily mess with it. Because I am gonna get a little lost if I don't. Okay. We got this here, and then we remember it was like that zigzag, right? Just zigzag into her final little ponytail, right? Let's do our best with that. And then we can just clean it up if it's looking wrong. I feel like this one's gonna need a lot of cleaning up. I think I should have done 2 zigzags here instead of just the 1, so we'll just clean it up later. And then we've got our hair pin. Boom. Now let's see. Let's see about cleaning that up right there. And then I lost a little bit right here. I want to look at it without getting confused with this underneath part, so we're going to just turn that off for a second. And I might erase most of the lines really quick, just so I can make it look a little bit neater. That looks a little bit better than it did originally. I think that's basically it. That's basically it. Turn this back on. And then what we'll do is erase underneath the braids so I'm a little bit less confused looking at it. And everybody else is also a little bit less confused looking at it. Turn this back up. Now, I do think that this bit right here, we would see, let's go ahead and merge this down. Merge down. I do think that bit right there, we would see the arm over it. And then I think that our arm is coming in through here. Maybe her breast is coming up a little bit. Yeah, that looks about right. That looks about right. Let's make this end piece really cute because I like to be extra with my hair. There we go. Okay, now this arm feels a little thickums for me. I know I can't stop coming back to this area, but I need her to look cute. There we go. Okay, so here's I'm gonna do the dreaded. Listen, you don't have to explain yourself, but it's called trust the process, and I trust. Thank you. I'm mostly doing it for myself too. I'm like sitting here thinking, does this make sense? You gotta ask yourself all the hard questions. Okay, so we flipped it, and let me tell you something. I'm not. This was the part I was scared of. It does, you're doing great. Thank you. This is the part I was scared of. When you flip it, you can definitely see all of your biggest issues all at the forefront right away. So, side charts are hard. Yeah, so true. And the saddest part about it, actually, if we go back and open that back up one more time, is that that's part of the reason I do the turnarounds. And I've started on her side portrait. I just haven't finished it clearly. And looking at this and looking at this, that does not seem like the same girl. I think we've got to do some editing. I do like the shape of her nose. I do think it's a little bit big, so we're gonna shove it up her face. And then we're going to do the same thing to her lips. We're gonna shove that up her face, which should give me more chin. And it does. But let's go make sure. Okay, her chin is very rounded. And it's important that I follow the kind of the differences in the characters that I did, because if I don't follow these differences, they'll all end up with the same face syndrome. And I can't handle that. They can't all have the same face. I do think that looks a little bit better though, right? I do think, however, when I'm staring at it, her head might be a bit big. Oh, sometimes my hand drags it to different places. So this whole area I feel like could be squished over. So let's do some squinching with the liquify tool. This is why I love the liquify tool. You can just do whatever you want. Hold on. Where am I losing this? It definitely helps, right? Oh, that was it. Oh my god. Wait, is she fine AF? Okay, now let's flip it again to make sure that we didn't just make it horrendous on the... Oh, wait, she might be fine AF, okay? I am going to pull her money shots a little bit more forward. I need to go to the salon and ask for this exact haircut. I'm not gonna lie about it. This is like the exact haircut I want. And I do need to fix her ears a little bit because they got a little wonky in that. Wait, is her ears pointing? Yeah, she's got kind of pointy ears, so maybe... Yeah. I love drawing the elf ears that I put on all these creatures. Genuinely so much fun. Genuinely so much fun. There we go. Wait. I lost something here. Don't know what happened. Okay, no, it's fine. We figured it out. Oh yeah, see now that's looking so cute. I think. Looking so cute. Do you think that needs to be a little bit? There we go. And I am probably gonna have to go over this whole thing and line it in a, or like work on the line art so it's a little bit cleaner like the rest of the image. But I'm definitely feeling her a lot more than I was when I started. Oh yeah, I'm feeling that. That's so cute. Let's turn this to the side a little bit and loop this back around. I don't want it to be a tangent into her lips, though, is the only thing. I think that's okay. But I do think this whole thing in general needs to get redrawn. Yeah. That's cute. And now that also has a little bit of goop coming, so let's do some goop. Oops. It's really important not to have tangents on other stuff because it starts to confuse the image, and I don't want to confuse the image. So in these like drips and stuff, I'm doing my best to, what's it called? These like other lines, I don't need my first line to match it perfectly. I really like ink cap mushrooms. I think they're super cute. They're definitely one of the cuter of the mushrooms. So like right there, for example, it starts to get confusing with her hair. I think it needs to have a big one here, like a drippy drip. And then I can do that. I feel like she's looking cute. That is kind of a big mushroom hat to be on her. But, I mean, that's how it is in the original reference, so... Did it to myself, right? These drippies lost the plot at some point. And are not dripping down. That might be a little bit too many drippy. Boom. Drippies. Let's... Okay, so her hat technically would be tipped this way. So let's erase this. This is fine. But in general, the way it'd be like resting on her head is closer to here. I think I did that right? Yeah, I think so. It'd be tipped a little bit more forward than it was. And it doesn't have to be crazy. Just a little bit. Oh. Hey. Oh. Oh. Kitty butt. Can you... Oh, sorry. You want to turn for me? Okay. There you go. You want to sit there? Nope. You definitely... Okay, you don't. Alright. Well. Tried. Okay, how did I do that? Did we just see the most perfect of two lines? And then, okay, well that was fine. That wasn't not bad. Okay, wait. These are all connecting. So nice. Oh my god. Okay. That wasn't bad. That was like a really good set of connects. I'm feeling that. Okay. Let's go back to the hands. So my hands... Well, let's start actually over here. The pinky would be here. And then we've got... Erase this one. I might have to... What's the word? Reference that. So, the way that her hand is sitting... But it's against her leg, so she would be like... Okay, how about this? These are her knuckles. And then this knuckle is basically out of shot. And then she's got her thumb over here. This hand. Or this knuckle. This knuckle. You've got this knuckle kind of bending. I want this knuckle to come back. And then this finger is kind of there. And then this other hand's basically hidden. So we're going to see what this looks like without the purple underneath it. No purple. And then That's basically it on that finger. Okay, so here's my problem. I think that these knuckles... And then this one... There's something going on wrong there. It's totally not right. So I gotta fix this while I'm thinking about it. That's a blade of grass, in case you were wondering. Yeah, it's back there, doing its thing. Blading. There's technically... There would be technically an opening there, methinks. I'm putting that on the wrong layer. Let's get back to her layer. Okay. I could also actually go the opposite way and have this one, this hand, go over this one. Which would probably make it easier to cover. But are we hiding this hand, or what are we doing? Because now that she's a little, her arms are a little shorter, and she doesn't necessarily, she's not necessarily, she's not necessarily on the edge of that anymore. Maybe. Maybe that's her, actually, that's her hand there. That's her pinky. How long are we gonna watch me draw hands? Oh. That's her pinky. That's her pinky. One more time. That one's her pinky for sure this time. That's it. That's what I wanted. You know, actually, she has nails, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. That'll make it so much easier. Nails make it so... I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when you're drawing, if you're ever thinking to yourself, man, these hands do not look like hands at all, even though, like, this is what it's supposed to look like, nails change everything, unironically. If you can put a nail in your, like, if you can put their nails on, like if they can see their nails there, it will make the whole thing look so much more accurate. Even if it doesn't feel like super right, having nails changes how the viewer looks at this hand entirely. Like right here is a really good example. This looks horrendous. But it doesn't because there's a nail on it. Okay. And then we're going to really quickly draw some feet. Same thing for feet. You ever like sitting there thinking to yourself, this doesn't look quite right? Throw some nails on it. Throw some nails on her. And then you'll be like, wait a second. This looks like a foot. Just like that. Like, maybe I'm tooting my own horn, but that was just the easiest foot I've ever drawn. And 90% of it is just adding the toenails. Yeah, this looks better before I touch it. I'm leaving that alone. I'm not touching that again. That's none of my business. That's somebody else's business right there. I like stopped to pause to make sure that the big toe was on the right side. And then other than that, I'm good. That's none of my business. That's for people who are really into feet to figure out whether or not that looks right. Oh god. Okay, so here is this problem. This foot is supposed to be actually planted on the side of this barrel. So, oh, every time my hand touches it the wrong way, it just moves the whole thing. So unfortunately, this one is my problem. Gotta make sure that this foot is in the right position. Something's not happening correctly here. Erase that. So we'll bring this part down first because it needs to hit the foot. Is that right? Is that right? I think that's right. Might need to go down a little bit. Oh, hit the wrong button. Free transform. Yeah, that's right. That's more right. That is more right, though I think this needs to be. Is that more right? Oh. Yeah. Is that right? 90% of this whole drawing thing is asking yourself, is that right? No, you know what it isn't? No, it isn't right. Song. This one is Nail Polish by Holy Water, and then Holy Water is spelled like this. Holy Water. That's readable. No problem. I like... Holy Water has a couple of really good songs. Nail Polish is definitely one of my favorites. Okay, I'm gonna make a new layer. Because... Okay, so the way the knees work is not the way that I drew it here. So... It's not the way I've got it here.
I was just a kid, but I learned much too fast. Found the internet way too young, a scar that would last. And you know I hate thinking someone else did this to me. But I had all the resources because of your enabling. And sometimes I wonder if I didn't hurt so bad, would I have been more lovable to my mom and my dad? If I went back in time to see 6-year-old, I'd say this shit does not get better. This is who you're meant to be. And I'm a monster, so you say, and I do this on purpose anyway. I need to feel this pain so I can try to crawl away when you say my name. Hold me down and scream at me.
I think that's right. Let's flop. Or switch, I suppose. Let's switch sides. Image, rotation, horizontal, and look at it from this side. Yeah, but I do think... Let me get this out of here. Let's rotate again. I do think and let's erase all of this extra right here. It's not really where I need this to be. Does that look right? That's the problem, is that the bottom of the thigh is not coming from low enough. And then I think from that same logic, this should be more scrunched. Maybe not. Something just ain't right here. Something just ain't right here. And it's just getting further and further from the truth, you know what I mean? Let's erase this. And let's retackle it. Oops, I don't want to lose my hand. Let's erase it and retackle it from a different direction. So I'm going to... Let's redraw this thigh. Let's redraw this thigh. So here's one. Here's the other. That's our thigh, right? That thigh makes sense. Right. That thigh makes sense. Now, if that's the thigh, if that's our thigh, then we would pull our foot back. I think that was part of our problem. I think our foot was too far out. That feels... Oh, I just threw my pen. That feels more correct.
Faded lips red down your chin, bled when you watched him go. Swear he saw ya in the crowd and didn't say hello. Just a pretty
Yeah, that's more accurate.
in your Sunday dressing coat. I found you in the bathroom like that. Help you up and say hello. I've been around the block and I see you cry a lot. Can I walk you home? I've been around the block and I see you cry a lot. Can I walk you home? Don't know your name,
I think I end the stream around now.
but your head's still resting on my arm. A subway flyby on the
But this, we did mostly rework her, and she looks a lot better than she did, so... Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that we managed to make some good progress. I will tackle that leg again tomorrow, hopefully. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace.